In this tutorial, we're going to be talking about variables. So, what are variables? Variables are containers or storage for storing data or information. We use variables to store some data, and they're actually names of a memory location. So variables, when you define a variable and store some data in it, they're actually kept in the memory. So in order to use variable in Java, you first actually have to know which type of data you want to use. So which type of data can your variable hold? This is what is called a data type. This is what is called data type. Data type is actually the type of data your variable can store. Take for instance a container for storing water. It can be used to store water only, right? We cannot come and put rice inside. That's actually food. So a container for storing food should be used to store food only, and a container for storing water should be used to store water only. So this is actually what I mean by the data type. So you first know which type of data your variable can store. In order to use variable in Java, the first thing to do is to name the variable. After knowing which type of data your variable can store, you have to give it a name. It's actually called there is something what we call identifiers. Identifiers are actually names of variables, functions, or other user-defined data types created by you, the programmer. They are called identifiers. So now when you define a variable, the name of the variable is called an identifier. Or when you define a function, something you define it by yourself, something you name it by yourself. So in order to define a variable, there are actually rules we have to follow in order to name the variable. A variable name can have alphabets, digits, underscore. Then let me show you what I mean here. So now let's define a variable of type string. So string is actually a data type in Java. We use string to store sequence of characters. So this, we are defining a variable, we first have to use the keyword. So what is a keyword and what does it mean? Keywords are actually reserved words. They are words that are already built into Java. So keywords, it means when you're defining a variable, when you're creating a variable, the variable name must not be a keyword because it is reserved. Yeah, that's what a keyword is, and keyword has its syntax of how to use it. So now we define a string variable. So this string variable, I'm just going to name its name, and I'm going to assign it to a string value. So I'm just going to give it my name, Zayyad. So as you can see here, we got this string and its name defined as variable. This is the keyword string, and name is the name of the variable, and then here we are actually giving it a value. So whenever we call this, we are actually referring to its value. Let me show you what I mean. So now let me try to just print this on the screen. Print that actually name. So let me try to run this. I'll show you what I mean. And we got this Zayyad printed out on the screen. So if you remember from our last tutorial, the hello world program, we actually use quotation marks in order to print something on the screen. But here, hey, so you may be wondering, why did he not put the double quotation marks? Is it not needed? No, it is not needed as long as you're using a variable, because now this variable has this stored in it. So whenever we are referring to this variable, we must not use any quotation marks. So assuming here now we use double quotation marks, and if we try to print it, this what is inside will get printed instead of the value. So let's try to do it and see what we will get. And you see we got name printed instead of the value Zayyad. That is actually because we use double quotation marks. So string is not only variable type we have, we also have the integer type. The integer data type can be used to store whole numbers. You know what I mean? Whole numbers means numbers without decimal points, right? You should know that. Yeah, I bet you do. So name age, let me try for instance. So I'm just going to give it a random number, just an age. Yeah, just an age. So this is why variables are very useful and they are awesome. So now let's try to print out something. Let's say hello, my name is. So now I'm just going to use this plus sign, name, and then plus again. I am age. Don't worry, I'm going to explain this in a moment. Yes, old. So let me run it first before I explain. So what do we have here? We got this. Hello, my name is Zayyad. I am 22 years old. This is actually, isn't it what we wrote here? It is actually. What is different is here. So we use this plus sign. If we use a plus sign on a string, it will actually concatenate the string. That means it will join the string together. So hello, my name is, then it will take the value of this variable name which has Zayyad stored in it, and then again it will join it with this one, I am, and then again join it with age. So as you can see, the value of age 22 years old. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I think so. So there are actually more data types. We have floats, we have double, we have long, short, char. We are going to cover that, but not in this section. In the next video we are actually going to cover that. So that's it for the variables for this. So I'm hoping to see you next. Bye.